Tonight, Eyewitness News investigates after the city of Fresno revealed it had lost $600,000 to a wire fraud scam. We checked in with other Valley cities. In Reedley, scammers used sophisticated methods to try and get thousands of dollars, and they almost got away with it as well. CBS 47's Natalie Vera has the story.
City manager tells me scammers somehow got a hold of their bank account information and they were trying to cash checks, realistic looking checks like the one I'm holding right here. Then they tell me there was another time when somebody was pretending to be the mayor. They were texting one of the city staffers. They say it was convincing enough that the city staffer actually did believe they were talking to the mayor. Over an 18-month period beginning in September 2020, scammers targeted the city of Reedley in an attempted check fraud scheme.
They were writing checks that were really not on Reedley check stock, but it said City of Reedley, and it even had our actual bank account on there. That we had been using.
City manager Nicole Ziba says altogether those checks added up to nearly $20,000.
They were taking them to liquor marts, to Targets, to Raleigh Supermarket, up in places like Sacramento, Placerville, away from the valley, and having these checks cashed.
Here's a screenshot from a surveillance video of a store up in Placerville. Ziba says these suspects cashed some of those checks, but Reedley PD hasn't been able to identify any suspects yet.
We do know that some of these retailers, particularly the small little liquor marts, they're out those dollars, and it's very unfortunate.
Ziba says the city caught on to this early on.
Each one of these checks was caught before the bank cashed it. So the city of Reedley and its taxpayers were not out a single dollar in the scam.
The checks varied. Here's one check for $850, and then there's this one for just $55. The city manager says crooks tried smaller amounts in hopes it would go unnoticed, but they didn't even spell Reedley right on the check. In another part of the scam, someone pretended to be then Mayor Frank Piñon and texted a staffer asking them to buy gift cards.
She absolutely thought it could be the mayor.
The city manager says they caught on to that too. She says the city has training about phishing scams as well as a firewall to protect them against hackers. Similar practices were implemented in Fresno recently after the city lost about $600,000 in a wire fraud.
Our budget is so small. Us small cities, we have small budgets. I sort of joke with my staff sometimes that what happened in Fresno is, a rounding error to them. It could be our entire budget.
Now, this is still an open investigation with Reedley police to try and see who was behind these scams. But again, no taxpayer dollars were lost during these attempted scams. Reporting from Reedley, Natalie Vera, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.